When we go in here, we are going to go in, first thing, go into channels. I'm going to be loading my SA defaults. It's loaded in there. Let's go and connect to the vehicle. Again, I'm still powered on right now. I haven't shut my key off. We'll go to connect, make sure it generates the proper PID list and the channels list here. And we're recognizing 2014 Camaro, so that looks good. I'm not going to be changing any of my data channels here. We're going to simply leave those alone. Let's make sure that our map sensor is programmed correctly. We can reference that before we even start the vehicle up. If we go here to start scanning, we're going to find our data starts to populate. And we look here, our intake manifold pressure showing us 99 kPa. This is about what it should show you with a properly scaled map sensor when you have the engine off but the key on. We're also going to find our barrel pressures referencing around the same pressure. We should see these are pretty much on point. They shouldn't have any kind of deviation. That's going to mean that our map sensor is programmed correctly, and it should be. It is a factory 3-bar map sensor with the factory scaling in there. But if you have a 2.5-bar map sensor or a 2-bar map sensor, or if you don't have the scaling corrector, there's some kind of a discrepancy, then you may run into problems. But we always want to make sure before we fire it up, this is going to be calibrated. It is. That looks good. Now, my elevation here at my shop is about 600 to 700 feet. So if I was at sea level, 0 feet of elevation, this would read a perfect 100 kPa. But because I'm a little bit higher than sea level, we're going to find that it's going to be a little bit lower below here, below 100 kPa. So we're at 99, 98 would be pretty normal. So these all look good. I think we're ready to fire it up right now. Let me go ahead and just simply start the engine. It should fire up and run pretty well. Okay, it started up pretty good there. Now the engine is cold, so we're going to be finding that it's going to be going through the warm-up enrichment period here. I'm not going to be getting into any of that right now. It's not super important. We wanted to make sure that at least it would fire up and run. It is running a little rough right now. That's okay. We are going to have to go in and do some calibration on our mass airflow sensor curve. Now we are in MAF mode right now, so we're running off of the MAF sensor and not on the map sensors. Not any kind of hybrid calculations going on like it would be factory. We can find here that our fuel system status is showing us that we're in open loop not ready, but our trims are adding fuel back in. We can see we're adding about 22%. Now we're in closed loop right now. It's kicked into closed loop, and it's going to be trimming out the mixture. We'll find here that our long term is going to start to absorb it. So we're going to have to update some things at idle. Now, one thing I want to point out right now that our mass airflow is showing us 1.4 pound per minute. This is a little bit high. Now our engine isn't warmed up. We should be seeing on a stock cam car like this that it's going to be running about 0.8, 1.0 pound per minute. We'll go through the process and we'll kind of see how it's going to go. We can see that obviously our fuel trims need to be updated. We need to update our mass airflow sensor. We're going to be finding if this falls back in line. If this is way off, we may run into problems as it looks for torque calculations.